I mean, it's abnormal for us to watch a Koi match, and you and I have casted them, you know, just a couple times.
Just a few.
And that Nook ban is so common to deal with Cryan. Now, this is not going to happen. It's a Yana ban. To be fair, that was one of the operators was talked about as a potential target ban.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense if Sports going 5-1 on Inch rather, being super successful, you take that away from him, force him onto a different operator, make that nade economy more difficult to have, as Ana is one of 4 of the only operators that has those frag grenades, and Ana can easily brought every single round. That's gonna change on border now. You only have 1 set of grenades most likely. That's if you bring the Sledge or the Nook. The 4th operator is glass. You're not gonna bring glass grenades.
You didn't know that.
You shouldn't be bringing glass grenades.
You don't know that.
So, okay, my point is, grenades are gonna be a rarity to have, most likely only 2 in pocket in an individual round. Border is a map where you can do some pretty crazy things. You can rush almost every single bomb site. The Monty, the Blitz, Ying is on the table as well for both teams. So I would not be surprised to see a ward in every single round, just to make sure that if a Ying is brought, at least one defender can deal with that gadgetry. The Candelas going out, the smoke grenades, etc. Astralis first round showing us the Capital so far. That's going to be that execute-oriented operator. Koi are bringing both the Solus and the Warden. Deny information, see through the smokes and the flash grenades. A versatile lineup.
Solus makes a lot of sense as well because you can roam quite effectively with it. There's only a couple entry points that we see these teams tend to favor, and whether you've got an Oryx or a Solus, try to rebuff Astralis should they try to get into the building a bit too quickly. And based on what we've seen on these 2 maps, Astralis likes to play to the beat of their own drum.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's really going to be an important factor for these first couple of rounds, is which team sets the tone and the pace for border. Because the attackers start running away with the rounds, defenders have to either, you know, do something very offensive, go for spawn peaks, or just try and bunker up and keep the bombs alive. Whereas if the defenders do not allow the attackers inside the building, opposite story. So these first 2 or 3 rounds of border are really important for these teams.
Leon Gids inside a break room. Nade goes down below. Shuttle walks right in. The engagement favors Astralis. And they pick up 2 for their troubles.
That's huge.
Spiff has had a disappointing series so far. And after the heroics of the first map, both Shuttle and Iconic disappeared in map number 2. Shuttle getting the first pick already. Spiff finding the first pick for him as well. Both setting a good pace. And honestly, is exactly what they need.
Yeah. Border, of course, a less linear map than that of Oregon. That is probably the most linear map of all of Rainbow Six Siege in professional play. It allows for these openings from Astralis to be abused more, and it allows somebody like Iconic more freedom to work around the map. J9, he finishes off Cryan. He was 1 HP from that earlier engagement.
First kill for Koi is in the hands of Kanto Raketti. But funny there to see the Warden get flashed out, but on go those smart glasses. Now it's Spoit to get up into the action. J9 picks up another. The brawl inside of the hole favors Astralis. Round number 1 is theirs.
You can see it. The moment they got that initial 2 opening kills, Shuttle getting the very first one, Astralis did not slow down. They're always being proactive, always going for that next step in the plan. Koi not in the position to punish it or shut it down. That means Astralis, they will just bulldozer through them. That's the difficulty of border attack. Sorry, border defense, is that there are so many long lines of sight. There's so many soft walls. You can essentially get shot at any given moment. And Shuttle just walked right on in. Almost looked too easy for Astralis in that round. That's where the questions come. What will Koi do to fix the problems of that previous round? Play closer together, that's for one. You can't die 1v1s like this with no trades going on. If Astralis can fight you 5 versus 3, you're almost guaranteed to take the round with how good their late game is. Koi, they thrive in the first, early half of the round. They need these early advantages to go even or in their favor.
5 seconds to go.
Border's the second most played map so far at this entire event. Trailing Clubhouse, picked 21 times. It's a coin flip map, the closest that we have to a map being attacker favored. 52% of all played rounds won by the defense, 48 by the attack. So when we see that number, again, tends to break down. What operators are banned?
Yeah.
What bomb site rotation do we see? The teams that play it, do they tend to be a very good defensive team? Do they tend to be very good on offense? Those things are all major considerations. So there isn't a ton to glean from an early start from Astralis racking up rounds, same with Koi. The good news for Astralis, they got the first pick in round number 1. They're close to doing it again. Forest closing in on Leon Gids. There's a run out from the Solus.
Of course, Solar can see any claimer being put down on the map, although I think Leon heard that one. No gadget needed. Astralis trying to set up passive leads on the map so far. Just drones, get a foothold somewhere.
Oh, there's Iconic on the Nook. Down below, inside of Customs. Yeah, you know what? Cryan's a pretty good Nook, but if you leave it unbanned and Astralis sees some success on it, then maybe it wasn't a terrible idea to go after the Yana ban over the Nook.
Not at all. I mean, Iconic was all alone. Sure, he had a drone, but the other 4 members are halfway across the map, so he's just finding this individual success for Astralis.
We're 2 rounds in, Nick, and Astralis already has more first bloods in this map than they did on all of Oregon.
Oh boy.
Nice bounce back. Playing more like themselves. Nades tossed down from below, don't connect with anything. Only one, or rather none remaining. 1 EMP in the hands of J90. In terms of throwables, that's it.
Yeah, there goes the archives window now. Smokes and fires and God, they can try and get that plan to execute in.
There go the fires. E1D to go as well, but the fire is lingering. They're boxed out at the moment. They can't get in. Cryan finished off by Spiff. Now it's Cantor Raketti as well. Koi just dying 1 by 1. The first domino falls and then they're all gone.
Oh my. Flawless round on round number 2. And again, Astralis are everywhere. Koi are playing so close to bomb site, fearing an execute, which, to be fair, it was about to happen. They completely forgot about the fact that Iconic is on the Nuke, just waiting for his moment to strike. So either Koi will weaken the bomb site by holding the flanks, or they will give up that exact flank that punished them by trying to make sure that they do not plant that diffuser down successfully. There's no winning for Koi right now. They're losing on all fronts.
It's the space that Astralis is making, and I mean, the drone work isn't even what seems to be that impressive. I saw very limited drone work from Astralis through the execute. Yeah, the discovery phase is going to have an abundance of it. You're going to be on drones for the whole minute, at least 2 or 3 players on the team, gain intel, get in. I have no doubt that that first pick from Iconic was aided by drone work to get the Nook into the building, again, just as Cryan did, exploiting those blind spots and exploiting the laneways to the bomb site that are not being watched. Get in, get the pick, get out.
That's the thing about borders, that every bomb site has an external, immediate access point to the bomb site. Teller's window, okay, not a great one, but it's there. Then we just saw Aka's Armory. Well, both bomb sites have an immediate door or window leading into the bomb site. So while roaming is great for Koi, they can't go too much on the roam, and the bomb site becomes weakened. Astralis, if they see that, they'll just rush for it. Koi knows this. Astralis, they have no issue going fast if it favors them statistically. Yeah, 1 versus 5 definitely favors the 5, not the 1.
We talk about intel, whether it be drone work in Discovery or whether it be drone work through the execute. The addition of Flores, yeah, you're going to want to use those Rotero drones to blow up the utility, but you also gain information from them.
Yeah.
And while you gain that information, you can use them as displacement. Somebody's playing on a deployable shield, somebody's playing next to a soft wall, you open that up. Not only do you gain info on that, but you also move them out of that spot. A second drone, easy to follow up on, or if the drone is being guided in, just as Forrest was, trying to bamboozle Spoit, but not being successful. J90 finds one for Astralis, so even though the first pick goes to Koi, it's traded back right away. Was that a Nitro cell that went off and did no damage to Shuttle, who now collects one on to Cryan? He's got security under his control from above.
You see Astralis, they're a trade, right? Always playing 2, 3, or 4 members on the same side of the map, whereas Koi, they have 1 member side of Armory isolated, and Crane side of Security also isolated. And both of those members, they fall relatively early on. It did cost the Armory of Forest, but I mean, that's the Armory's job. You go in fast, sometimes you die, sometimes you don't die. It's not a huge loss for Astralis. They get a permanent flank watch on drones now.
Very rough start for Cryan, unable to find the scoreboard. 3 players on Koi, in fact. Kill-less at the moment. Concerning one is Cryan. Leon Gids and Deepek don't tend to dominate the scoreboard because of the roles that they play, though they obviously still need to get kills. That's a no-brainer. Deepek will drop towards the bomb site. Bathroom tellers, the site. There go the Rotero drones. Selma's also going off. Tons of explosives.
Yeah, tons of time. 45 seconds is a really great pace for Astralis. Koi surrendering map control a little bit too fast. They can just execute when they want to. They're going to destroy the floor first, of course, get one drone into sight, get a little bit of information. But Jaina no on the window, 2 members on the hatch, last guy holding flank. They can just go for it.
Spiff is trying to scare them off. He walks in. Down goes Spoit. Usually has a good head on his shoulders. He doesn't have anything on his shoulders now. Deepek will... No! It gets shot! At the last second, the Nitro Cell could have been so good. Somebody's been in the shooting range, Nick. 3-0 for Astralis.
And guess what? That's Koi's tactical timeout again, burned for 3 or 4 rounds. Always being forced out early, and then they have no breaks to slam. They just gotta keep suffocating through these rounds to come if they don't start finding success.
Both teams used their timeouts in maps 1 and 2. All 12 rounds were needed on Bank. Same with Oregon. I wanted to hear the rest of it. I'm sorry, please. After the timeout that was taken on Bank, Koi won every other round, but the problem was is they took it after Astralis had already stormed out to a 3-1 victory. That's how the scoreline ended up finishing, with Astralis winning with that impressive clutch at 7-5. On Oregon, the timeout that was taken by Meepy net Koi the next 2 rounds, immediately paying off. Astralis took a timeout, and then they win the next round. But again, Koi's lead was just too much, and in that 12th and final round, Koi won the map.
There's something very, very clear in the Orbital lineup right now that seems to have been influenced by that tactical timeout. I'm pretty certain maybe said something along the lines of, guys, fight them. Go aggressive. Right now, strategically, it doesn't matter. If they plan it because we're all dead, that's whatever. But we cannot just lose members. You give Cryan the Vigil, give Kento the Mossy, Leon Gates on Asami, every single operator besides Deepek, the core support player on this lineup, they can just take every single gunfight now with great guns and comfort on their side. I think it's a wise choice because these rounds are decided by Astralis in the first minute of the round because they're not making any mistake in their mid-round gameplay whatsoever. It is a clean border attack so far.
Cryan likes Nook so much, he decided to bring her on defense. I think that's very cute.
Okay. That's a fair point. The thing is, Cryan has to make it work for him, right? You said it, Parker. Him being 0-3 a bit concerning. Then gets a Deepek less. And Cryan is on the front lines for Koi, always in those early engagements and just losing them out. He doesn't have to help or support. No Echo, Yokai drones to help you. Valkyrie's banned by Astralis. You're working off what you see and what you hear. There's no external help besides default cameras really assisting these roamers. Whereas normally Koi, they have, as I said, Deepek on the Echo, utilizing those Yokai drones. That has not been the case so far.
Spoit 1 and 3 as well, somewhat concerning for the highest rated player on the team through this entire event. These were not Deepek's second highest rated player.
Yeah, Deepek's actually second highest in injury stats, which is very surprising, before this matchup at least.
It's a lot of players that have competed, so I mean their numbers don't matter. You say, oh yeah, he's 46th on entry. There's got hundreds of players that are here, at least over 100. Speaking of Deepek, he's taking a bit of damage. That's really it. The rest of it for Spoit, self-inflicted. Leon Gids, kill number 1. There you go. And looking for more, gets it on the fadeaway. First kill for Astralis comes in from Forest. He dies to Cry, and there's the Vigil coming into play. In the span of 10 seconds, this entire server is cleared out, leaving Spiff in a 1v4. Lots of drones available. He's got one in his pocket as well, but are you going to go to it? 1:15 left on the clock.
Beautiful C4 by Deepak. The lineup there from the side was as good as it can get.
Kanto goes down to a nade. Spiff has blown this round open. But he needs information. That's the bigger issue. 1 minute to go. This is really going to test the mettle of Spiff. There's too many ways to clear.
Koi finds the round. The young Gibbs not just gets the opening kill, but he finds Iconic on the nuke inside that long hallway towards 19 off his double door. And that's a huge pick because now Iconic not gonna feel as comfortable just walking around where he pleases as that nuke operator. And he has been finding openings in the first 3 rounds. That might not be the case going forward because now he has to be more cautious. That's the C4. Beautiful lineup. Cryan even got a kill.
Yes, he did. Woo. Everybody on the board. How nice. How nice, how quaint, how cute. See, we're not supposed to swear on broadcast.
No.
But there's nothing stopping the players from doing that. In terms of bomb site rotation, there's only been 2 bomb sites that they've gone to.
Yeah.
Armory 3 times, and now Bathroom Tellers will emerge a 2nd time. Not sure if it was a deliberate decision during the timeout to stick Cryan onto this role, but he's going to stay in the Vigil.
So there's a high chance here that Koi, they're expected by Astralis to be way off the bomb site. And that's why we see this kind of direct push lineup potentially, right? The Glass and the Ying and the Gridlock means a direct Tellers window planned if that's what they want to opt for.
I think they're going to take a little bit of time. Go upstairs, clear out a little bit, get the Rotero drone in play, have the Glass far enough back. Isn't this the same strategy that we saw Koi do once?
Yeah, we did. Are they just going to go for it?
It looks like they're going to. A potential vault in. The Glass gives his position away. Diffuser in. Forrest getting it down. Candela's to go off. It's chaos inside of the bomb site. 40 seconds off of the clock. Everybody's still alive. And the diffuser is down. Smokes to go in. Track stingers as well.
Oh my.
What a mess this is. And the clock will continue to run. Right now, nobody knows what to do next. We're at the halfway point of the diffuser, and everybody is still alive. This is unprecedented. Flashbangs dumping in. There goes a Rotero drone as well. The Gridlock will take from above. First kill goes to Cryan, but look at the time. Suddenly, you are at the point where you just need to hop on this diffuser, and you can't get it done. Astralis thrive in the chaos.
Such a good read, expecting that heavy roam aggression because that's the adaptation Koi made after their tactical timeout, going for that direct execute. Callout, he might not look super happy behind his players, but he's proud.
Callout almost never
No.
has any emotion on his face. And I remember back when we were doing the NAL, we used to do exit interviews after matches. And it was shortly after Callout had been picked up as coach for this team. Astralis, sometimes they like to do a lot of talking. During the exit interview, I tried everything in my power to get Callout to engage in just a little bit of smack talk about their opponents. He would not take the bait at all. He was just so steadfast in, you know what, they play a really good game, we just got to be prepared for it.
Okay.
So, he doesn't show emotion when you look at him on the camera. He's not showing emotion in victory. He doesn't really show emotion in loss. He's a very even keel presence, and I think that honestly helps center this team.
I was gonna say, that brings a ton of stability, having that core standing between the players is not really being worried all too much. And if you look at Astralis throughout the last 12 months, they're a very different team. I mean, they're the same players besides Biff, but the way they act in the server, their composure, their mentality, how well they play together in terms of synergy and trading one another out inside the game, phenomenal. They've really gone down and just honed the core principles of their craft. as much as they can, and it's gotten them this far. The biggest stage of the year, the Six Invitationals, top 6 guaranteed, but they want more.
Winner gets a date with G2. They punched their ticket. Defeating Wolves in an exciting best of...
Not again.
There's no way this is happening again. Hold on a
It's
second.
gotta be a fake.
That's a lot of utility to waste for a fake. Is it gonna get them back on the bomb site? Leon Gids desperately searching to see if the diffuser is going down.
Oh, they know something's up.
Could it be a back take? Leon Gids now over towards Tellers. Forrest is in on the Nook. It did look like if it wasn't a fake, something about this Koi defense has given them pause.
Yeah. Initial fake into a backside strike, and now chaos on the side of Koi. They don't know what's happening.
Forrest gets the very first pick. Spoit, he's having a miserable map. They need more from him. Canto Ricchetti, another one of the top fraggers on this team. They need more from him as well. Leon Gids picks up 1 kill. Canto on the board with the kill onto Iconic. There go those Candelas, and both teams will fire back. Cryan looking for the secure to get it.
Oh my
He's
God.
last man standing. Spiff on 7 kills. They'll hunt down the Warden from above. Diffuser in the hands of J90. Out goes a nade. Not dislodging him, but the tinnitus will ring in Cryan's ears. Astralis have a stranglehold on this map at the moment. Cryan's made it back to the bomb site.
Oh!
He can't outduel J90. Missed opportunity. First half in the books, the most dominant side that we've seen from either team. Astralis emerge 5-1.
I know a lot of people are going to question why did Cryan drop back down to the bombs in that scenario. It's very simple. He doesn't have a shotgun, didn't have a C4. He has to challenge horizontally because vertically, he cannot gain any more information, and his side didn't have any. Koi were relying on the souls to stay alive to tell them where they were going to be planting, and that worked the first time around. But then, Leon gets in the Solus, he got shut down. A very bloody upstairs trade, back and forth, 1 by 1. But again, Astralis, they come out in a 2v1.
I mean, Astralis gets the uncontested first pick, but they just continue that snowball.
Yeah.
Rolling down the hill, gaining steam the whole way. Leon Gids coming very close to a successful spray transfer, getting both of them. Having that control of upstairs, Leon Gids still in the fight, would have likely turned the round on its head and given a major advantage to Koi.
When the last 2 rounds of the first half goes the way they do, Telos pumps a rush for Astralis into the fake, into a fake, into a just absolute massacre. Koi have to question the reality of things, the actual state of this match. Can they believe what is actually happening right now? Because they're actually being played mentally very hard by Astralis. Now, of course, side swaps are happening. Koi can now get back in control as the attacking team, but your confidence, it's gotta be a little bit fragile after the last 2 rounds.
It's all about the confidence, especially for a team like Astralis. Their mood plays a huge role in how they show up. And right now, you can see it. They are fired up, succeeding in pretty much every way. Koi, by the way, struggling to get on the board first, just as Astralis did in the previous map. This time around, it was Koi having some great degree of difficulties with those first picks. Nothing really working.
Solus giving all this information, where the drones are, where the drone person is as well. Koi taking first map control of CCTV, but honestly, Astralis, they don't care too much for this part of the map. They got Fountain, they got Office, they got the bomb sites themselves, that's all they want.
Spoit almost getting that first pick, but losing so much HP. Shuttle's turn. He's roaming downstairs in Workshop, but you gotta pick where you're gonna go. Cryan pick number 1, it's on the Forest. Leon Gids assessing the destruction.
Oh.
Coming so close. The pre-fire still dancing around it. This is like Battleship.
He ain't moving. Oh!
And he gets it this time, a proper read through the wall. Koi with a bang, 2 picks.
Deep pick with that drone, the yellow ping information. Leon was right in his feeling as to where that enemy was, but the yellow ping just confirms it, guarantees it.
Spiff creeping up. His name on the tip of our tongue through most of these first 2 maps. Disappointing, but
They know.
he's living up to it now. They know exactly where he is. Kanto worried, but Koi got this round in the bag. Unless J90 can do something. He's 8-1, by the way. Doing it for the stats at this point. Currently playing by Beepers. Down he goes. Metal and a bit of a scare from Spoit, who celebrates him on that one. A flawless start to the second half for Koi.
So we can look at that round from Koi and say, Spoit hit a nice shot, Leon gets with a wallbang, Cry an opening kill, but there is an unsung hero of that round. Deepak spent 80% of the entire time on drones. Even at that last 1 versus 5, there's a drone at the feet of J90 the entire time, leading Spoit into the fight. Flank drone spotted both the 90 flank and the break room flank. Every single one of those kills, besides Cryan's, was actually due to Deepak's information game on the drone.
Always like to highlight the things that don't get shown on the score sheet. Contributions that somebody like Deepak is capable of making to this team. On defense, when he plays on the Echo, the Yokai, scouting. Sometimes he'll keep them in sight. He'll be great, knock you off the diffuser. Or he can use them to scout. Again, there are contributions that come that are not easily visible. And for those that don't have the keenest of eyes,
5 seconds to go.
it's nice to know the value of these support players. First round for Koi on attack is successful. Again, flawlessly done. That's an excellent start, but they've got to climb out of a 5-1 deficit. We are not used to seeing 5-1s on this map in particular.
No. And I mean, one of the big reasons is that border can really go any way either round. We always say that border is the new coastline. It gets really bloody, really messy, comes down to the not only individual gunfights, but how you play in them in union as a team to try and get into those 2v1s. You see right now from the side of Astralis, they got a member armory door, one member security. They're working together to try and isolate Leon Gitz if he were to strike first.
Excellent drone work on the first round. You could follow it up. As long as they can keep that pace going, they're going to benefit a huge amount. Tracers go through that barricade right next to Iconic as he drops. Customs, nice read. And Leon Gitz is prepared for it as well. Koi, again, their drone work, immaculate. 2 picks, not just the first pick, but the second as well. They've done that both of their attacks so far.
Maybe solo should be played again. It was last round, but unsuccessfully so. Koi, they got the map control. They got Leon Gitz in a deep position side of customs. They got half the map at their disposal, and they're finding more and more and more.
They're going to continue it. Astralis have been held off the score sheet for their defensive half up to this point. 4.5 minutes of 0 kills, and it's going to continue.
Oh my god.
Flawless back-to-back for Koi. That break the spirits of a team that need the vibes to be good, Nick. Shuttle in a 1v5. Floating in no man's land. There goes the nade, he gets the pick, denies the flawless. But very valuable information gained from Shuttle now. Back inside of customs. Shooting what certainly feels like more than 10 drones on the battlefield at this point.
Where's the diffuser, Kento? Like, it's not being planted yet. There we go.
Kanto, of course, the hardened support, who's often planting that diffuser, Nick. You have to forgive him for a second here. Shuttle knows exactly where they are. Diffuser goes down, and there are far too many guns trained into Shuttle for him to survive any longer. Now it's Koi with a comeback brewing.
Yeah. Information is such a vital part of their success, and it's incredible to watch because Astralis, I mean, while they also had information, they weren't leveraging these yellow pings to the same level that Koi are. They're finding half the kill thanks to it. Again, yellow ping for Cryan.
There's so many of them. And like I said, it feels like there's more than 10 drones on the field.
So unfair.
They are just permanently being surveilled by this Koi team. It prompts Astralis after 2 tough rounds to bring out their timeout.
Yeah, I think you gotta earlier rather than later. When you've already gone through your side swap after 6 rounds, you know you're gonna, or well, you can passively play it out just on this half-mount defense. Of course, you go to OT, things will shake up, but Astralis, they wanna take this in regulation. Gonna take the time out now to get ahead of the problem.
And the thing is, if you look back on every timeout that's been taken up to this point, both teams have used their timeouts in every map. Each team has won at minimum 1 round immediately after calling the timeout. 5 for 5. Considering that, if you're Astralis, the thinking is, all right, this should be good enough for us to get that 6th round. Then you move to series point.
Yeah.
Again, it is fully within your grasps to close this out without needing overtime. We have not had an overtime just yet. The first 2 maps did go all 12 rounds of regulation, but while the teams have been closely matched, not close enough for those 3 extra rounds to determine a winner. Again, Astralis winning that first half 5-1 is enormous, and it has given them such a tailwind. But sometimes you end up adrift without any wind at your back at all. And that could happen to Astralis here. There's a reason why this Koi team won a major.
Yeah.
They've been able to dig deep, and that FaZe core that might not have had as impressive a performance here at SI was one of the best teams over the last year, and Koi were able to handle them in Berlin. You don't just win a major by lucking out. This is a team that you can never count out at all. They made it to the final 6, technically the final 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I go back to that bank map. A couple clutches, even 1 clutch from Astralis, falls flat, and it's a 2-0 for Koi, and we're watching OXG versus W7M right now.
Yeah. And now at that timeout, Astralis are going to show us a change up in their performance and their gameplay. One big thing that we learned here with the insights to coaches' tactical timeouts is just how valuable information that is easy to digest is to give to your players, right? Feedback that can be applied the next following round. And it's why I think that you mentioned, Parker, that teams are finding success right after the timeout. Things are easy to digest, easy to apply, and they can be done so immediately. Astralis needed around here to show that that's the case again. Koi playing it, cautiously, slowly making their way through security, but down below is J9O on this Solace.
This is an aggressively attacker-favored border. Only a single round won by the defense. I mean, we looked at Astralis and we said, hey, look at how good their entry is. They're able to take up space so quickly, force out these players from Koi. And now it's Koi doing the exact same thing in return. In fact, based on what we're looking, basically dead even.
Yeah.
The first 2 rounds for Astralis, one of them was flawless, same with Koi. That gives me that feeling that once again we're going to need at least 12 rounds.
Oh, we certainly do. We certainly do.
This is cheeky. Leon Gids reading through the Kiba barrier, and Kanto as well. Astralis was hoping that the trend would stick. Still doable, but it's looking dire. Those first 2 picks for Koi. All 3 rounds so far, they've been in a 5v3. They haven't thrown it yet.
Oh, Koi got to slow things down though and play the numbers advantage. They'll close the bomb site.
They only have 1 drone left, excluding the Rotero drones. Now they have none left. All this fighting is going to happen without advanced intel. Astralis reduced to just 2, now to 1. The timeout puts Iconic into a 1v5. Astralis certainly feeling like they're in a timeout.
Oh boy.
Sit in the corner and stare at the wall. Koi 3 in a row. What a comeback this is.
Yeah, an enormous comeback. I mean, my one note I had for Koi to win this 3rd map was shut it down. And I mean Astralis, right? Their key members, their clutches, and their ways of finding into these rounds, they're doing so perfectly on their attack inside. They're not letting Astralis have any breathing room at any point in the round.
Look at this. So much of this round was spent with Koi under 3 drones. Now, mind you, they could be anywhere, but I mean, for that round in particular, Astralis were exemplary at being able to find the drones and get rid of them. But Koi still won those engagements. And it seems like through all 3 of these rounds that Astralis are just not in tune with where Koi is going to come from.
I fully agree. And there are a couple of complications here, because they might suffer the same issue that Koi did. If you go too far in the roam, bomb site's weak. If you stay too close to the bomb site, well then the roam clear is way too fast and easy for Koi to deal with, and you got the Nuke open, and you got the Ying open. So you're being pressured on both sides of the equation right now, And we saw how well Astralis could utilize that when they're on the attacking side, but they're also struggling in the exact same scenario with the side swap. It's very concerning to see because it looks like Astralis only really have one half figured out. And right now, that second half they're missing, we're seeing the gaps and the flaws.
Koi win this round. We sit at a 5-5 draw. We will again need all 12 rounds. We hope none of you had plans other than watching Rainbow Six today. All 3 maps were played in Wolves versus G2 earlier, and given the way both OXG and W7M have played at this event, I expect all 3 maps to be needed for that contest as well. It's coming up right after this one ends. Again, the winner of this series gets a date with G2 in the lower bracket tomorrow. Loser goes home. Koi have been perfect on their entry, these 3 attacking rounds, getting the first 2 picks. Kanto Raketti very nearly losing his head. That would have break the streak.
Look at this. They got Ying on one side, Nuke on the other. It's been red though. The Astralis are holding the entry point. That's iconic. The Nuke player himself.
And he gets it. Astralis the first pick that they so desperately need. More will need to be found, but they've got some breathing room and they don't need to worry about Cryan leaving and trying another way into that bathroom teller's site. Now both Kanto and Spoit will hit a Guzmat mine upstairs. There go the Candelas. Try to alleviate some of this pressure over by Fountain, but suddenly it's Astralis fighting back. You can't ever count them out. They'll continue. Deepek in a 1v5.
What is happening?
Astralis are just stopping them now. No flawless round. Deepek knows how dire this one is as well. He's been here before. On cam right now by Metal, top Metal, and down the main stairs he goes. Astralis just need to wait a minute. 60 seconds for them to sit on series point. Then the climb for Koi becomes 2 rounds in a row to go to overtime. Deepek taking his time. He has the diffuser. They know exactly where he is. And Astralis are going to send multiple troops at him. He's good for one, not good enough for the other. Astralis on series point.
Oh, Koi. Now, it's all or nothing. Cryan has been their way into these rounds, and Iconic recognizing it, expecting it, and shutting it down immediately makes it so much more difficult for Koi to find the success. The crossfire, the long lines of sight we spoke about earlier, such a present issue on border. And Astralis is set up without that triple wall being breached on east side. It's so hard to pick apart. Where they go, that's the question. Astralis got everything open besides tellers.
I mean, where do you go and you hope to win for the first time, right? You cannot go back to tellers for the remainder of this map. The one bomb site that you've been successful on only reopens if you go to overtime, which means that you go just as you did on your attack, 1 and 5 on their attack.
Send them home.
Send them home.
High stakes, of course. Whoever loses, they only get to play this best of 3 on stage, and it's every single player's dream to play on this kind of stage every day of their careers. Very few get to have the privilege of even playing a single best of 3. It's a heartbreaking moment for teams that lose. The winning team get one step closer to any Siege player's biggest dream of lifting that hammer. Astralis, they've gotten to a grand finals before, almost winning a major. Koi, back then known as Rogue. They found that success. Leon in this round finds Shuttle. They're building the opening kill, but another engagement awaits him. Iconic runs away.
That's absolutely enormous. Picking off Shuttle, looking to keep Koi's dreams alive. Major winners, but that's not a world championship.
Oh, not quite, but it's damn close.
If Koi goes home, that leaves just 2 remaining world champions by my count. Fabian, the coach of G2. Julio over on W7M. There's Leon Gids down. Forrest drops, so does Iconic. Working in tandem with one another, they'll retake the top of East.
Yeah.
They suspect there's somebody outside, and they're right about it. It's Kanto. What are you doing? Spiff a rookie mistake, and Kanto can feast on the corpses of Astralis.
the risk assessment right now, a match point for both teams. I mean, they're both making the hard choices right now, fighting every single area that they can. Kanto with a perfect read finds 2 for the price of 1, putting his team in the 3 versus 2. That could very well be the defining factor for Koi in this round, but Astralis, their late round, we saw it on Bank, we saw it on Oregon. This is where things get scary for Koi. They got 4 drones to work with, and they need all the info they can get.
Well, I mean, they've got flashbangs, they've got nades as well, so there's a saving grace if you don't want to engage in a direct gunfight. And you've got, arguably, 2 of your strongest players still on the board for Koi. With an advantage and with 1 minute to go. But where do you put your forces? That is the real question.
Right now,
Ash charges going out. You can hear the explosions. Execute coming any moment.
Koi's on the security side, all 3 members playing together, not risking the isolation. Could cut that main Bieber rotation. Then Astralis, where they choose to play, is also their stock. They're both in armory. It's a full commitment by both teams.
J9O read into this. He was far enough back, and he'll play the pixel angle. This is a tough shot to make, gives his position away to Deepak. That's the diffuser in hand. Cryan takes out Forrest. J9O's got 10 kills. Can he pull off a clutch of his own? No, it looks like the collapse is coming. Just too many bodies thrown at the problem. Koi stays alive.
Man advantage, it makes all the difference. Imagine that's a 1v1 or even a 1 versus 2. That is so much easier for Astralis to figure out and problem solve. Leon Gitz with that opening kill, leading the charge for his team instead of customs. Set the tone for the round. The Koi, they want to fight back. Kanto with the double. Asami tried to go for a run out with that Claymore being shut down.
I gotta go back to what was the play from Spiff there? I mean, he must have known in Kanto's position. That was a call that was made at the top of East.
Sometimes things get missed. I mean, there's so much happening in the rounds of these players, and miscommunication can easily occur. The pressure, of course, as well. I will say, Spiff going for the aggressive play on match point, you can respect it. Having the nerve to attempt it, even if it was the wrong play. He's 7-7 so far, going even with that death in the previous round. Iconic, gonna play a vital role on the Solace. As you can play vertically on both Armory and Ventilation Bomb side to deny the diffuser plan and gain that information. But Koi, they keep clearing the downstairs area. Ventilation Customs, the first place they go. Then they work their way up. They understand the layers of border. Start down, work their way up because of that verticality.
Very quick to the punch so far for Koi. Bringing the Ying as well. No Warden to stop this. Not that Warden is an absolute requirement, but certainly it helps.
Certainly helps. I will say Capkin with C4 downstairs, J9O. When Koi walk in security, that could be a problem for them. But again, the layers are being understood. Drone downstairs, know there's a Capkin, there's a C4. Now they're going to deal with that problem first before they hit security. It's a really well-read situation by Koi.
Neither of these teams have needed overtime. They've needed all 12 rounds. We find ourselves in a very similar situation on that 12th round. A 5-1 half for Astralis. We noted was unlikely to be repeated by Koi. We might be 2 minutes away from eating our words.
Maybe.
This first pick is going to be critical. So far in the second half, the team that gets the first pick has gone on to win the round. Leon Gids, not unlike a bull, kicking up dirt, waiting, trying to draw somebody out, shooting away. Surely gets the attention of Astralis, but no movement from them.
No. This J9O and Leon gets downstairs holding each other off while the fight is upstairs.
What do we say about that first pick?
Wins the round.
Forrest is down for the count. Koi in a 5v4. Now the walls close in. Candela's as well. Nades to go over towards half wall. This is a very tough place for Iconic to be in, but J9O says something else about it. Nade finishes off Iconic. That's Armory control. Astralis gets on the board, but the advantage in terms of numbers stays in the hands of Koi.
J9O killed Leon, gets inside of security across the map on a horizontal gunfight while that mini execute happened upstairs. It doesn't impact what happens in Armory, but it does mean that Astralis, they're not that poorly off. A 3v4 is easily winnable for them. Got 45 seconds left, ventilation bomb site, and J9O still has that C4 in pocket inside of customs.
J9O's been the star of this map for the team. You find him get put in an unwinnable situation. An entry through detention, and Spoit takes some damage in the process. J9O has to fight his way out, but that's a big pick for Koi, looking to secure overtime. They know they have the down. Spiff and Shuttle to run back to the bomb site. It's Vents. You can hear the telltale sign of the LMG going off. Koi will get ever closer. But you have to be very wary of this time. They're boxed out because those Kiba barriers. Shuttle engages. It's Spiff to clutch out the newest player from Astralis, and he's putting together a great body of work. But all about Spoy sending us to overtime for the first time in this series.
They both want it so bad. They're fighting for it. They're taking the gunfights. They're not slowing down. The J9O could have been the hero inside of security, but gets wall banged into an injure. A devastating moment. Overtime's in the menu. That means a best of 3 in terms of rounds on this final map. It's almost like it's back to 0-0. That's how the players think about this. Don't worry about it, guys. It's just like the very beginning of the third map, except we only play 3 rounds. Don't be afraid of winning. Don't be afraid of losing. Just play it round by round. No timeouts available from either team. It's just the players who have to problem solve.
Literal life on the line for Koi in game.
Oh.
Frustration, but you got to keep that mental up. They might not be major winners, but Astralis made it to the finals in Charlotte against DZ. They've been in trickier positions before. They have the mental to bounce back. They decided to hang tight with DZ, despite the fact that DZ could have mopped the floor with them. No. People keep counting Astralis out.
The difficult thing now is, because of the nature of overtime and who gets to start defense and attack, things are now changed up. You've just played 6 rounds on your respective sides, and now it gets flipped again. It can be very difficult for teams to adjust to this. And given what we saw, it's a very attacker-favored border. Well, Astralis, they will get 2 out of 3 rounds in attack. And of course, Koi, they get 2 defenses. Whoever can adapt better and win their defensive side, well, they can essentially control who ends up winning this match. But since Koi starts there, they gotta find success there guaranteed. They can't just win their single attacking round, then they lose.
Yeah, in terms of these sides, we do see some oddities occur in overtime. The trend line very rarely does hold. But from what we've seen so far of the 12 rounds, 10 for the attackers, 2 for the defenders. Astralis get the benefit of attacking twice. But again, they haven't been here in quite a while. They're picking away at the Kiba barriers from above. Leon Gids is the one holding up the fort. Or holding down the fort, really. I mean, it supposes whatever direction you want. I suppose it'd be holding up the fort in Australia.
Upside down. Astralis, they're standing out pretty straight though. On the archive side of things is J9O Forest and a +1 member taking office in their control. That's almost in the bomb site.
Iconic looking for the first engagement. He finds it, but he's not successful. And there's the Azami. Leon Gids in the same spot on the same operator Spiff died on, right by the door. The Nook has found an opening. Forrest getting the diffuser down. Astralis maintaining the tempo they had the first time, but Kanto blows them to pieces. Diffuser retrieved. Koi still trail. They need to box out these last 2. That's the diffuser down again. No way you don't check for that. They'll get him back up. A little worse for wear. Spoit retaking from above. They'll retake together. Cryin, seen, spotted, damage being done. Astralis knows that both players from Koi are in the same spot. Shuttle attempting the diffuser. Second time for Astralis. Is it a charm? Yes, it is. And into the post plant, these 2 teams will scramble. Spoit on the jump out. He misses the opportunity. An easy read from Astralis. Cryan's fortunes decided to rise when he went onto this vigil. Oh, he doesn't have information on the 3 last players. It's the king to kill Cryan. Astralis again on series point.
And Astralis completely dictating the pace of the entirety of the round, hitting that opening kill, hitting the bomb side, and yeah, things didn't go their way. Kanto's phenomenal C4 double kill, that's a play from him, but the frost map, an oversight from Astralis' attack, it stalls out the round for 30 seconds, but they get the attack in the end. Koi gets to go twice on defense if they were to win this following round when they go to the attack. And they would have to find success. Astralis, they can also just do it first. Figure out this defensive round. You go 8-6, you send Koi home. 3.5 minutes is left possibly of this match, and then it might be over.
I hope your heart can handle these matches, really.
Attackers have located a
Wolves G2 is exhilarating, but I'm going to be a bit biased and say that I think we got the better of the two matches so far. What awaits us in W7MOXG?
10 seconds.
Will there be a North American team in the grand finals tomorrow? If you're a fan of OXG or the region in general, you hope that they overcome the Brazilian juggernaut that has been W7M at this event.
Objective is to defuse a bomb.
Oh boy. As an IGL,
Look at this.
Leon gets, he calls for the glass.
Look at this.
He calls for the Ying and the Lion. That signifies the archives push we've all seen before, and it gets very tricky for the defenders to pull that apart. Iconic on the Warden could be the playmaker. They're not gonna go just yet.
Say what you will about these two teams, whether you cheer for Astralis, whether you cheer for Koi, there is no way this round is not thrilling. All the tools from Koi, they've had no problems on attack, same as Astralis. And they're about to bring a world of hurt to the doorstep of AST.
It's worth noting that Kanto is not there. He has to fuse us at a break room. Might be a fake, actually.
Might be. Astralis did it to him. There go the Candelas. Maybe the attention over towards Metal. Smoke's now going off. Leon Gids amidst the confusion. He gets kill number one. Hops in, hops out. That's all he needs. Spoit gives another advantage to Koi. This 5v3, but Spiff is holding up quite well inside of Office. That's Diffuser down as well. It will need to be retrieved, and it's crying to pick up the case. Spiff still sitting in this position. Spiff don't whiff.
No smokes from the side of Koi.
Koi are opting for something different. They wanted it. They wanted it to be. But then they can't, so now it's gonna be what? It's gonna be Armory.
Yeah, I mean, they have to change the plans when there's no smokes from Leon Gids and Kanto died. Gotta change the course of action now. You got time to work with, but you might have to go in the offense and find some kills. I don't think you can plant here.
There's no way Leon Gids just decides to unsheath the secondary and go close quarters combat as Glaz, right? That's silly season. There's certainly no way that that's gonna happen. Of course, now that we said it, that's exactly what it is. We wanted a rush. We didn't quite get it.
Well, they went for the fake instead, and now they're just kind of bleeding out Astralis, making them questioning where exactly is the opponent. Well, gonna knock down that armory door with pressure from Sandwich Window, and Leon gets on main stairs.
They don't have the hard breach to deal with this, though. This will just be pure pugilism. Fist to fist, combat to combat.
Oh,
Flashes go in, and the smart glass is up for Iconic as he moves over. Leon Gids takes down Shuttle. Yes, he is. The glass is indeed going close quarters combat. He gets found by Spiff, still in the spot.
Oh.
Iconic tries for his best, but Koi are doubled up on the door, and we have all 15 rounds.
the confidence from Leon to make that call as the leader of his team on match point when you're down. The glass of all things, the fake execute into just saying, guys, the strat didn't work. We gotta just walk in a door, walk up a staircase, and take the fight to them.
What a shot by Leon Gids. Mr. Giddens doing business.
That means we are going to have our absolute very final round.
No more. 3 minutes from now, one of these two teams will be sitting in the stands for the rest of the weekend. The other will begin their prep work against G2 Esports tomorrow morning.
It comes down to defender curse. Honestly, seeing as Chorus on this final round finds himself on the defensive side, it's up to them to break it and really win this round and win the game. If the Astralis just do the thing they always have been doing, well, they will naturally just be the big victor. Ventilation bomb site. It plays out across the entire map. vertically, horizontally.
10 seconds left.
Astralis have a lot to work with now. Let's see if they can be as ballsy in their calls as Leon Gitz and Koi were on their side.
I will say this, win or lose, this is Astralis' fourth lower bracket match. They are running the gauntlet at the moment.
Yeah.
And they are now a single round away from either going home or going on. That is as impressive as you can really get. And again, this just shows Astralis is going to keep and hang tight no matter which team they're playing. Astralis sent Sonics home, they sent Lost One home, they sent BDS home. They're looking to do the same to Koi. Koi, in terms of what they bring here. Major winners looking for a world championship. Kanto looking for another hammer.
Yeah.
Which team comes out ahead? Favorable side goes to Astralis. But it really is a coin toss of a map. It's been a coin toss of a series, and this is a coin toss of a round.
Comes down to how you attack it. Of course, the early kill, building that advantage that has been the defining factor for most of these rounds, and both teams playing a little bit slower than usual. Don't want to risk giving up that death early on from either side.
Worried about whatever sloppiness might come if you try to get into the building a bit too quickly. Both of these teams know a thing or two about rapid attacks. Saw Astralis pull it off in their previous round. Koi tried it but failed.
Oh, the nade!
Look at the nade go in. Deepak will free. First pick goes to Astralis again. These teams getting the first pick. Monumental Spoit keeps it close. Down goes J90, the best player statistically for Astralis. Now Spiff is down as well. Koi have retaken from above. The Lion looking for something. Shuttle is ice in his veins, but they will trade. This is a madhouse going on.
And no one gets the advantage. It's completely even 2v2.
Spoit and Leon Gid's damaged. Astralis at full HP. No explosives to be tossed on out. Spoit will reposition. He's been so good this second half. 1 minute remaining for both of these teams. 1 minute remaining for your time at the Six Invitational. Astralis still making calls in the final 40 seconds right now. Iconic can go for the drop. Soft destruction happening. Forest is almost out of those skeleton key ammo.
Yeah, I don't think they can plan this scenario. They're gonna make this choice right now.
He drops, they hear him. I'd imagine so. Iconic fighting shadows. Sound of the diffuser will go down. Forest attempting it. Iconic has the correct read on one of the last two players. But they're not moving in. He sees the shoulder of one. It's a post plant. Caught by the Oryx.
1v1.
Leon Gids to save his team. But Astralis accomplish it. They get it done at the final moment. The dream continues for this NA squad. And the miracle run continues for Astralis.
Lower gauntlet run is one of the most difficult things to do. The fatigue's gotta be setting in. I'm sure they can feel it, but the job is not done yet.
Could you ask for a closer match? Could you ask for a more exciting finish? I couldn't imagine it. How do you top that finish to bank? Well, how about a 15-round border in a 1v1 post plant? Good Lord.